Jaden Rashada and the whole NIL deal.
Ooh.
This is what happens when you let your father have his hand out and put you up for auction. That's all I'm going to say.
I was going to ask you that. we had Michelle on to talk legalities with it and what it all entails. I don't know if you got to see her talk about it legality-wise, our lawyer friend Michelle, a Michigan alum. But I'd be hard-pressed that this was ever offered that much money. That would be the biggest NIL contract of all time, number one. Number two, it seems like he's playing your university, the U, against Florida. And saying they offered me $9 million, and so we didn't take it because we wanted to take the 14 you offered, and blah blah blah. Do you even think that really happened? And Michelle said, "Listen,
Yes.
it was a contract.
Oh.
It's not a contract though. It's actually word of mouth."
Steve said yes though.
Well, all I know is this: Miami dodged a bullet, and I was with a booster 2 years ago after Miami's first spring game under Mario Cristobal. So this is April of 2022. And this booster, who's a major player, I consider him not only a friend, but I consider him highly influential and very connected. He said, Steve, I don't like this Rashada thing. Don't like it. Don't like what they're doing.
Oh, wait, what are you saying? You're saying they offered him $9 million in Miami?
I believe that there's a significant amount of money offered by John Ruiz, the head of Life Wallet, who at that time everyone thought was the sugar daddy of the program, and people thought he was the whole program. It turned out not to be true. They have a very good collective going on. There's other boosters. But John Ruiz was first and foremost in the summer of 2022. I thought he was a little bit too out front, and I know certain boosters had a problem with that. But I was told by my good friend, Steve, I don't like this Rashada thing. I don't like what's going on. I think we're playing a dangerous game. And I think the father's a pain in the ass. And this is what happens when a player and a father don't look at the actual college experience. You wanted to put yourself up for auction. I'm glad Miami got outbid. Thank God. And the father, if I'm not mistaken, was actually up on Spaces because the rules in California and Florida are different. He's out there telling people, well, how come we're not getting this, this, and this right now? I'm like, bro, that's not – you want to put that out on public forums. So they're I don't want to say they're getting what they deserve, but this needs to be a cautionary tale. How about actually worrying about the college you want to go to and then trying to figure out a deal then? The kid's on his what? Technically a second program, and he's been a part of four.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't
Florida upped them. So Florida up $9 million for sure, you think?
I believe that Miami had a deal in place. It was leveraged. Here's where I knew it was shady with this kid. During that football season, when Miami is struggling, it's not a great first year. All of the other incoming recruits for that next class that Cristobal had on board, they would put out these edits, like class of 23 coming. They'd have like a tagline and a slogan, and all of the incoming recruits who had not signed yet, just like Rashada, would put it out there. It was noticed very quickly by certain fans and people. Rashada was the one guy never tweeting about Miami, never congratulating the other recruits like the other people. Now, if you are a quarterback in today's game, as far as I'm concerned, you are supposed to be the leader of your recruiting class. You're supposed to help recruit. You're supposed to have group chats and tell guys, hey, let's get this thing going. We're here to win. With Rashada, I think he was part of a group chat with our incoming recruits that season. But in terms of being out there on social media and being a leader of that group of young men, because I see Luke Nickel, who's a quarterback who I really like, is going to be part of the Elite 11 that's coming in next season. He's doing all of that. He's acting like the way your quarterback wants to, but that is the difference between a soldier and a mercenary. Jaden Rashada, very early on with his father, decided to be a mercenary. And then I read that his father was promised a job by the University of Florida.
Yeah.
Again, so is it about protecting and giving your kids an opportunity, or is it about you?
Hey, it's very interesting because Pat, I was with last night out in San Diego, Pat Perez, and Pat played golf the last 2 days with Kenny Dillingham, a good friend of mine who I've known forever. He's the head coach at Arizona State. Obviously, you know where this conversation is going. Rashada ended up going there during his first year, and he had interesting things to say as well, and about the kid and his dad. And so you're right, you're spot on with it. The kid's a California, up north kid, Pittsburgh. He reminds me of a lot of what Malik Henry's dad put him through as a kid. Malik went to 4 high schools. I think Rashada went to 3. They both shared one in IMG, which is in Florida. A California kid going to play high school football in Florida just rings alarms to me.
Well, Coach, what is going on here reminds me of boxing with these fathers who train their kids, and then when it comes to signing a pro deal, they quit their jobs. And when they meet with managers, they talk about, hey, what's our signing bonus like? Ours. And then I hear this a lot. Well, I put a lot of time into my son. Oh, you mean like most fathers? It's terrible. I mean, once I hear of a father who does not have a job that he goes to every day, as a boxing manager, that scares the hell out of people because they know this is going to be a headache. And the same thing is now happening. But this is what happened with the NIL. We bastardized it into pay for play. We didn't have regulations. We didn't have any rules. It was a wild, wild west. Miami got very, very lucky that Florida wanted to stick it to Miami because I think there was a lot of people in the know that when Rashada was still committed to Miami in the middle of that season, there was an uneasy feeling that was the one kid that was going to waver. It was not a big surprise. Okay. And he's not bad. He's okay. He's going to be a pretty good college player, whatever college he's going to be at after Georgia. There's a guy by the name of Uncle Lou. He does a great YouTube channel, big University of Georgia guy, does daily college football videos. I like him. He says a lot of funny things about a lot of programs. And he's a big Georgia fan. He flat out said it best. He said, if I'm Kirby Smart, why do I want this in my program? Like, he's actually saying we should just dump this kid. This kid's not good for us.
And it's funny, Bailey, if you could pull it up for Steve. It's funny, though, that rumors are, and Outkick is reporting it as fact, that Kirby Smart gave him his blessing to sue Florida. And
this is about recruiting, though. Like, this is about piling on and making sure for kids between Florida and Georgia that, hey, look, whatever we promise you, you're going to get. Not like those other guys. And, it's funny. I was talking to my friend about this. That's the booster. He told me flat out, I go, Steve, Georgia doesn't pay as much as people think. And I go, well, what's their pitch? You're going to win and you're going to develop. He goes, Steve, how Miami is going to bring down their NIL game, and I think everyone's going to go through it. If you win big as a program, you can get a little bit more of a discount. You still have to pay. But Miami's at a point right now where they want to they want to rebuild this thing really fast. Like they're going all in this year. They're going to have to pay a little bit more because they've been mediocre for 20 years. Now, other programs, I believe you'll have kids take a little bit less to say, you know what, I want to be a part of that. So I don't know if Jaden Rashada is really worth what Georgia has right now going on.
Hey, Steve, this kind of just, before you leave, this kind of tells me why it's become so bad in the college football landscape. Back in the day, at least there were, I guess there's no honor among Steve, but back in the day, coaches were they knew that never trust a kid, never trust a parent. And now it seems like it's switching to meat market. It's a piece of meat. Coaches are against each other. Mm-hmm. They're out for themselves. We don't care. Even when Lane Kiffin was getting recorded by the shitbird, and then we got other coaches trying to get that same kid, didn't give a shit that he tried to record Lane Kiffin. Like, it seems like it's the wild, wild west that it's ever been.
I mean, look, I wonder if Jaden Rashada in the back of his mind is saying, you know what, I should have just gone to Miami, taken that 9, which I probably would have gotten. Yeah, I could be their future quarterback, but I'd actually I'd be my second, third year at Miami, making friends, having a good time. And instead, I've become this vagabond and a symbol of what is wrong of the NIL. And I'm wondering with Harlan Rashada. Harlan, do you think you're being a good father right now? Do you think that you have done a good job in this situation? We got to get the stage fathers out of here. I'm just telling you. I think you can't do it because not everyone's going to do the same. But if I was in a position of power at a school, I would tell the parent, look, you've done a great job. It's now, I don't want you at practice. I don't want you anywhere. You're done. Get out of here. Go to another program. But it's not realistic because somebody will always be willing to play ball. But Jaden Rashada at a certain point had to tell his father, Dad, I like this school. Let me stay here. You had $9 million. So you're really saying, see, here's where I don't respect Jaden Rashada. You gave your word. And so here's the thing, though. If it's a binding contract, all right, with Florida, which it may or may not be. It's either the spirit of the rule or the letter of the law. Well, you didn't look at it that way when you had the Miami deal. Thankfully, thank God. Hey, Jaden and your father, I want to thank you for your greed, because that money's going to a lot of different players. Thank you. Thank you for being greedy and selfish, because quite frankly, you may not be worth it. But again, it's still a cautionary tale.
Yeah, it is. Michelle came on and said it's not binding though earlier.
Okay.
She said it's not a contract. It's because if it was, the lawsuit should have been the first and foremost thing we saw was a breach of contract, and that is not what the suit is about, because there was no contract to breach. So it's a bunch of text messages, word of mouth. Now, if there's text messages out there, like she pointed out, Billy Napier telling a collective, "Hey, this guy is an idiot. He doesn't think he don't know we're playing him. He's not going to get shit." Then there's maybe something.
Right. And look, and if Jaden Rashada, if it's proven that he was promised the money, guess what? I still think he should get the money. That's just my view of it. I'm just thankful it's not Miami on the hook for it. I'm being dead serious about this. This whole notion, I'm just telling you, I'm going to say this one more time. The NIL was about the established superstar who becomes very popular or iconic. Think Tim Tebow at Florida.
Reggie Bush.
Mo Claret that 1 year at Ohio State,
yep.
Reggie Bush certainly, and they get to use their profile to sell stuff, paraphernalia. Right. They can make their own hoodies, they make their own gear. Not this, hey, you're a left guard that's not going to play for 3 years, but be part of our collective. That's pay for play, and which it is what it is, but it's fine. There's no turning back. But Jaden Rashada will one day, no matter how his career turns out, he will be the face of NIL. There'll be documentaries about this. This should be a 30 for 30. But I think the father had a lot to do with this, because I think most kids, in my view, Coach, want to settle in a school and let's get to work and let's have an actual career. He doesn't have a career. He doesn't. There's no career there for Jaden Rashada right now. He's just a guy that's been a part of 4 different programs.